Yes, yes. Why, yes. Hello there, everyone. I am Frankie Blade, and of course, you know that means you are on the Frankie Blade Show, internet radio slash podcast, whatever you want to call it. You're here, I'm here. Let's get a little weird. But actually, today we're not getting weird. We're actually doing the final chapter of the relationship saga. That's right, we talked about friends, we talked about family. Now, the one everybody's been waiting for love, relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend. I don't know what else to say about it, really, than what you've already seen in the world. Relationships are not what they used to be. It's not the guy knocking on the door with the flowers and candy, taking the girl out to a dinner, then a show, maybe go back for coffee at her place. No, that's all gone and dead. Sadly, I'm old school. That's the way I thought would stay around forever. But times change, people change. But people change, and the dynamic of a relationship changes. You get into a relationship with a person in mind. You see this person, you're dating them, you see everything about them. Then, when you put commitment on it, you put a title on it, things change. What happens? People were like, well, he's not trying anymore, or he's a different person, or this or that. No, I'm sorry. That's not how it works. What happens is a person becomes comfortable. I mean, when you go into an interview for a job, you're boasting yourself. You're going above and beyond to get the job. Same thing with relationships. People go above and beyond to get that title of boyfriend or girlfriend. But once that stops, a lot of people stop trying to impress. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. You don't want to always have to not be yourself. You want to be comfortable around a person. You want that person to see the real you. You want to tell them things, your deepest, darkest secrets. You want a relationship. You want a bond. Some relationships are good for you, some are not. Sometimes you're in a toxic relationship. Other times, I hate to tell you this, men, women, whoever, you're the toxic one. Maybe you're saying, oh, I can't be with him. He's toxic. He's this, he's that. She's this, she's that. I hate to say it, but half the time when I hear that, it's the other person. It's you. You're toxic. I mean, come on. People break up at the drop of a hat. We're in a culture now where sex is more common than a high five. People are hooking up left and right, STDs, and all this stuff is on, a big, huge increase. The only difference is, I notice people don't have as many kids as they used to. People are choosing not to have kids. Maybe because they don't see their person being around in their life. Maybe they don't see a long-term relationship. Maybe everybody just wants casual dating. I mean, come on, people. Every relationship will get, what you call boring after you've been a couple years. But what you got to remember is love isn't a feeling. Sure, it's a feeling, but it's not just a feeling. It's a commitment to be with that person every day, physically and emotionally. It's not going to be all rainbows. It's going to be difficult. It's not always laughs, smiles, and fun. You're going to have your fights. You're going to have your disagreements. But you got to learn to go past it. People tend to quit when it stops being fun. They tend to go look for someone else. They start looking around. They don't even quit the relationship they're in. They just start looking, start cheating, start sneaking around. It's not right. The only time you should be doing that kind of stuff is when you're looking for a job. Don't quit your job until you find a better job. And if you don't find that better job, at least you still have your job. It's not fair to the other person to emotionally string them along. Relationships are about communication. But people tend to look for someone else when they say the spark is gone. That's not how it works. You want somebody to be there for you. You want to be there with someone. You want somebody who's not going to give up on you. Somebody who's going to love you unconditionally and do the same. This isn't Hollywood, people. This isn't like a novel or something like that. This is real people. These are real emotions. These are real daily challenges. You have to wake the fuck up. I see people talking about divorce, people talking about breaking up. Heck, I just went through 3 breakups in this one year. Two with the same person, one with another person. And it's like, the breakup issue is, nobody wants to try anymore. Nobody really wants to give it their all. Nobody wants to sit down and communicate. But there are toxic relationships. There are relationships you have to look out for. Relationships where people are emotionally and physically abusive. Get away from that. Now, I don't mean somebody saying, now, emotional abuse, I don't mean somebody saying, I love you, now I hate you. I don't mean like that. I mean emotionally abusing you to where you're not you. What I mean is like, and I keep saying what I mean because I don't know if anyone's getting it. I feel like I have to explain this really dumb down because sometimes people will not understand what I'm saying when I tell them these things in real life. If somebody is emotionally abusing you from top to bottom, just making you feel like shit, making you almost want to kill yourself, get away from that. But if somebody is having an argument with you, telling you something they don't like that you're doing, that is not emotional abuse. That is you just being too fragile to accept it. Some people don't want to fight. Some people don't want to argue. Like, no, I can't go through this. I can't do this. They want the love, happy rainbows. They want no disagreements. But if you cannot have a disagreement in your relationship without thinking of breaking up, you're not emotionally mature enough. You need to step back and reevaluate your freaking life. I'm sorry, because relationships take effort. You want to meet that someone who just you look at and they look at you and you're like, I am so glad I met you. So glad we're together. You know, stop chasing people too in relationships. If they leave you, you could try to work it out. But if they are putting wall up after wall up after wall up, I mean, there's nothing you could do. And I understand when you leave someone, it's hard. If they leave you, it's even harder. One of the hardest things you will ever have to do is grieve the loss of a person who is still alive. Because you want that connection. But some relationships look good on paper, but they're not good after you sign your name, kind of a thing. I mean, I oftentimes get in relationships, and I wish the one gift I can give the women I date is I wish they could see themselves through my eyes. Because if I try to explain things I don't like, or things that I do like, it's like it falls on deaf ears. What I mean by that is if I tell a woman, oh, you're beautiful, I think you're gorgeous, I think of this, women will oftentimes, shoot themselves down. Oh, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm hideous. Ugh, why would you want to be with someone who looks like me? It's like, okay, that's a real turn on. I mean, there will be times when your partner just will not feel well and it will have nothing to do with you. Just give the person space, give them time to breathe, and don't force a conversation with them. Just because you don't want to build resentment. Just give them space, and maybe you guys could talk when you're both ready to talk. I mean, some people will not hear you regardless how much you yell, how much you love, how much you speak, how truthful you speak. It's not your fault. And guys, what could I say? If a woman leaves you and you did everything right, you worshiped the ground she walked on, you did everything in your power to be nice, and she ends up leaving you for some weak person who will mistreat her and treat her badly. I hate to say it, guys, it's not your fault. Sometimes women fall in love with cowards. What I mean by that is they see a strong person like you and they can't deal. Women, same way. Heck, Vice versa. I'm not trying to be sexist or one-sided. Women, sometimes guys will see a strong woman and they can't deal. Don't blame yourselves. But toxic relationships can really mess you up. What I mean by that is you could be doing everything in your power, doing this, doing that. The other person can be doing nothing. But you love that person. You're willing to give them everything. Now, me, I'm a little old school. I mean, I believe the guy should drive, guy should pay for dinner, guy should pay. I mean, nowadays it just doesn't work like that. And it shouldn't. It should be a partnership. You guys should be pulling money together, working on goals together, working on dreams together. If a guy is doing everything, and I say guy because I'm a guy, ladies, it could be, you doing everything. But if you are doing everything and the other person is doing nothing, just sitting back, waiting for you to do something, the second you screw up, you make a mistake, you do something bad, they will make you feel like shit for it. Because you're supposed to be a superhero, above and beyond. Do this, do that. While they sit back and enjoy it. You're the entertainment. You're giving them what they want. You're like a Netflix subscription, basically. You provide, they sit back and enjoy. Whether they're paying you in sex or love or a relationship. But relationships cannot be all about one person. You cannot force a person to be motivated in life. You cannot force a person to love you. You cannot force a person to contribute, to add to a relationship. You can only tell them. Tell them what you don't like. Tell them the things that are bothering you. Too many people just want to break up and divorce nowadays. It's sad. I mean, one person, I read this online when I was talking about the relationship thing. I read a post a guy posted, and it caught me off guard. I read it, and I was like, wow, that's very heartfelt. He wrote, I gave all of me to you for constant several years. I can even say I devoted my whole life to you. Instead of love, care, and heart attachment, I gave you everything. All of that and more. I can't understand what made you detach from me, though, so easily. One day we're happy. The next day you can easily say without a care, this is not working out. We're done. It's true. I mean, but then again, guys, I say guys, ladies, not trying to leave you out, but I'm a guy, so I can only speak for guys. Because I'm a guy. Guys, sometimes women, from what I'm reading, don't fall out of love. The love and attraction gets turned off. When you put a light switch on a wall to, work a light, once that switch is installed, it's there. It's there. It ain't going nowhere unless you purposely do things to remove it. But it's there. That's a woman's love for you. It's a light switch on a wall. You could easily turn it on, and you could easily turn it off. Your actions will determine what you have done. The best way to save yourself of heartache and pain is I'm going to give you some examples. Stuff I've learned through my own experience. I try every day to be a better person. I've had a few wake-up calls in life to where it's like, okay, I have to start doing this, not doing that. Sure, I've lost relationships I care deeply about. People I've lost, and it hurts. It is not going to go away overnight. It takes time. You never know what will happen, though, in life. Never say never.